That must be disappointing after last weekend.
Yeah, very. I think that it was a good advert of to play against the top teams. You need to be on it, and as coaching parlance, and I think we were on it. But the difference is accuracy. I thought we were intense last week. We were intense this week. I think there was a lot of motivation for us. The boys prepared really well. The warm up was. They were in the hotel, and there were no signs of anything but being really ready for the task. And as a coach, that's the first thing that you obviously look at. And then obviously you look at what happens in front of you. And the difference this week to last week was definitely around their accuracy. And if you're inaccurate, and that can be kick-off reception, it manifests itself in so many different areas against a team that's got good athletes that can punish you quickly off turnover, and you create turnover for them, you pay a big price, and that's it. I mean, it's not a train smash in relation to we're going to pull ourselves to pieces over the hot coals about it. Our challenge, if we want to move into that playoff arena and beyond, and be a really good team and a tough team, we know what we are. We're clear what we are. We know what behaviours we need to deliver. We also need to. We know what we are from an effort point of view. You saw that how we chased the fourth try today. You saw that in the performance last week. You've seen that across the season if you've been watching us, wherever we've been, Lions away, for example. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of the moments, you've got to be accurate. We created a lot of pressure on Stortwood last week and capitalised off their inaccuracy. Bulls created a lot of pressure for us today, and they capitalised off ours, and that's the story.
So you don't think altitude played a role at all?
I get asked that question. No different to probably when we played at the Lions, which we won, and came home strong in the last quarter of the game, and so I'm reliably told it's 300 metres lower here than there. So we won't use that as an excuse. But what we can't deny is, we have plans for that. You have plans about your travel. You have plans around when you're going to use your bench and who and what and GPS and science and all that sort of stuff. But go back to those two things are linked. If you're inaccurate and you have to go long distances repeatedly under panic and duress, the energy bank comes down quite quickly. So I think it's more around if you're clean, clear, execute really well, like we did, for example, in our first try. That doesn't take the energy out of you. That doesn't affect you. But what it does is, every time you don't, it keeps tapping you on the shoulder and saying, just in case you don't realise, we're still here. And that's the challenge of altitude.
Toby, you've guys been one of the more successful teams travelling to South Africa.
4 out of 5. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, 4 out against South African teams, really. But yeah.
But are teams from the north starting to work it out more? Or do you think what are the challenges that you find still are tough here for you guys?
I think both ways, really. I think when South African teams are going north, and vice versa, I think there's a lot to be said for those experiences. I mean, if I'm Razzie, I've got the best of both worlds, right? I've got a team that plays championship down there and a domestic competition that plays up there. I can learn quite a lot about how to win, against different oppositions and styles and bits and pieces. And also, the longer you're in it, your players are more aware, so they can adapt and shift. I think it's making better rugby players, for sure, more rounded rugby players that have to understand what's happening around them and how they can have to switch. And the beauty of this competition is that you have to switch very, very quickly. And that means you've got to make sure you coach them differently, and they've got to be adaptable and, not robots. They've got to make sure that they understand what they are, but what little nuances make a big difference. So I think there's probably some truth in what you say. I think that people depends on what side you bring as well. We're always going to bring our strongest side here because we want to test ourselves against the best.
In especially early in that second half, it seemed almost But part of the difference was just the intensity of the World Cup winning players in the Bulls side, Vidi, Kurtley, Horace, and Moody, just when they just got into
Yeah.
form.
I mean, again, quality's quality as well, right? So, again, if you're not doing what you want to do and you give other people of that quality what they want to do, then the chances are they look good, right? That's the reason that they are what they are. So, yeah, I think you're absolutely... I think there was... I thought that the power game was definitely evident from the Bulls. I thought they looked a powerful side. We're always going to be tough and brave, we know that. And we have to work extremely hard for the moments that we created, and then you get intercepted twice when you think, okay, we could get something out of this, and the score blows out. But I said to the team, don't worry about the score. We're chasing 4 tries here, whatever happens, and that's what we do at the Ospreys. And the game had gone for us, but as you saw, even with the last bit, we gave it a great go. In accuracy, we don't give ourselves the final shot, so it almost encapsulates itself in that play.
Where does this leave you for your playoff hopes?
Well, we just talked about it. We go. It's not going to get any easier if you think about the last 5 games of our season. Go, Stormers away, Bulls away, Leinster away. So I don't think anyone in the world's going to, prescribe that as the easiest. And then obviously we have 2 Welsh derbies, which are very emotive. But we know we've got an idea in mind about, if you look historically at the table, about what you need to be into that top 8, and that would be progress. And then you see where it takes us, like we did in Europe. We won a knockout game, first time ever. So I think there's an expectation or a realism about where we are and what we're doing. I'm delighted. I'm never going to sit here and criticise the effort of our group. I think they're great. I love this group. I really do. And they're an unbelievably tight group. But we've got to learn to be accurate and have the qualities when it matters, and that's part of the learning curve.
Coach, it was obviously a tough and a huge effort to win in Cape Town last week against the Stormers. With that result in mind and everything that it took out of this team, was it always going to be a tough task to expect a similar performance and to try and get over the line up north in the country as well against another team in the Bulls who just came from a loss and they would have wanted to rectify their mistakes as well?
2 losses. So yeah, we knew that the bear had been poked for sure. Or sorry, the bull had been poked, I should say. So isn't it your squad depth definitely gets challenged? We freshened up some of what we did because of the physical cost of what the Stormers game took out of us, and there's probably an argument around squad depth, that can be put here. But we'd rather see what those youngsters can do. Morgan Morse, a young man of, very junior years at 18 is going to find out a lot about that performance, because that's where he wants to be against that, playing full international rugby at some day. So I think it's all relative. Was it a game too far? I don't know, but we came here very confident in our own ability, and we're disappointed with some of the levels of accuracy, which effectively gives raps opportunity for the opposition team. And I'm sitting there going, man, the Bulls were class. Sometimes you just go, man, they were class. And there's some stuff around where we could have been better, but there was also stuff that they did was very, very good.
Coach, is there a simple answer? You had a few explanations now, explaining you were brilliant last week, not so good this week. The Bulls were hopeless last week and brilliant this week. Is there a simple explanation, or is it more?
I don't think it's a simple explanation. You're dealing with people, so people are never straightforward. That's the first part of that argument. But ultimately, there's 15, 23 people on the other side trying to do something pretty remarkable themselves. So then it comes down to, I break it down into 3 things. Are we clear? Any team? Are you clear what you're trying to do? What the plan is? What it, for that particular game? Then can you bring the intensity that is required to do it? And then how accurate were you at doing it? So every team comes in with that idea. Well, I presume they do. And then it comes down to the battle. Where we'll be disappointed on our accuracy. If you miss touch against a good counter-attacking team, you're going to pay a price. And you're going to pay a price on the scoreboard, and you're going to pay a price on the energy count. And as a result, that's what happens. So I don't think it's as simple to go, you look at an outcome and I understand why you do and ask the question, outcomes are around lots of little sequences and things that happen built on each other. And ultimately, if you load as many of them in your favour as possible, you normally win. It's not on.
Oh, I'm just going to check if I could, Toby. Did all the players make it through all right? Any injury concerns?
The only person that we don't know about is Adam Beard, who came off late. So I didn't have that information coming in today, but he came off at late.
Nice. Thank you, Toby.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Bye-bye.